So today we will discuss the topics related to CCE and certain changes regarding the student records, a module that has been created for student records, and some other modules and their changes like regarding custom imports and date filters, etc. So to start with, first we will start student records. So there is a new module that has been added in Fedena 3.5, that is student records. So this student records will help you to create some records for the students based on different batches. So first is we can create and manage the record groups. So here we have record groups. So first is like we can create a group. So it can be anything like we have created, for example, like self-awareness, health record. So in the same way, we can create certain record groups in order to collect the data of the students in the institution. So here there is a specification given for the student records, which is saying like a record group is a collection of records used to capture details about student that are specific to a batch. Like example, maintaining the health records of students such as height, vision, weight, etc. So in this way, we can create some record groups. So we have created some two active record groups, which are like self-awareness and health record. So first we will create a new record group here, give a record group name. So I'm just giving something like student participation. So create a record group. So after the creation of the record group, you can see beside it manage records and settings. So you can manage the records or go for the settings. So first we will see what is there under settings. So here we will be able to change the name of the record group, and we can set the status of the record group as active or inactive. So if it is active, so it will be assigned to the batches which are currently running in the institution, and if it is inactive, we have to make it active again and then assign the batches to this record group. And if you delete a record group, all the information that you have stored in the record group related to all the students in a batch will be lost. So now whenever you want to make certain changes related to the record group name, or else if you want to change the status of it, whether it has to be active or inactive, or deletion of this group, you can do using these settings. These settings we have manage records. So under manage records we will see what do we have under manage records. So under manage records we have to add records to this record group. So we have the name of the record group that I have created is student participation, and here we have add records to this record group because I haven't added any records in this record group. So now I am selecting add record. So here I'll give the record name. So say for example, I'll give the participation of the students in which sport in the institution. So I just want to know it. Like I want to keep the information regarding the student of the institution in the student records related to a batch. So that is why I have created a record group, and now I'm creating a record name. So now a record name like sport. No, I have given record name as sport, and input method. So what type of input method do you prefer for this record name? Single line text or multi-line text, multiple options, date, file attachment. So you can give anything you wanted to give. So I'm just giving single line text. Record type. So whether you want alphanumeric or only numerals for this record name, you can set it accordingly. And you can also set the record suffix. And next there is optional field or mandatory field. So you can specify according to your wish. And now I'm creating it as an optional field, not a mandatory one, and create a record. So now a record group, that is student participation. So under that record group, I have added a record called sport. And even if I want to add additional records, I can add. So I'm just giving multiple options. So here select one option or select one multiple options from the, when we are selecting the things for the students, then how do you want to choose the option? So you can select from here. So optional, mandatory. Create a record group, record here. So now I have created 2 records under a record group. So now this is the process of creation of the record groups and the records under each and every record group. So here you also have this preview record group form. So how this record group form will be displayed, you can just click on preview and see how does it look like. And also if you want to change the order of these records, you can click on reorder records and then you can change the order of these records like this. So after this has been done, after we have created the record groups and added the records under the group, we have like courses and batches. So now what we have to do is we have to assign the record groups to courses and the batches. So now I'm selecting courses and batches. So this is the course name which we have created. Only one course I have created in this instance. So now you can see a course name. Like even if I have created list of courses here, I'll be able to see them all. So course name, I will click on. So course name, grading system, which is being followed by this course name, and assign batches. And here I can click on record groups. So there are like what are the active groups of this batch, like of not of this batch, what are the active groups in the institution. So I can see like health record as active. So I can do the settings. So this is the one which has been already assigned to this particular batch. So health record is one of the records which I have already assigned to this batch. And if I want to assign a new record group to this batch, I have to click on assign record group. So I'm going to click on assign record group. So there are list of record groups which we have created apart from the ones which we have already assigned to this batch. So there are 2 more record groups that are there, and I can assign one of these record groups to this batch. So now there is like assign record group to assign to all active batches of this course. So whatever batches are there under that course, those are active batches. So do you want to assign this record group to all the batches in the course, or else assign to selected batches of this course? Only to a selected batch you can assign these record group. So assign record group. So now we have assigned 2 record groups to the same batch. So there is another option like prioritize record group. So you can change the order of these record groups like this when you click on prioritize record group. And next is we have preview student record form. So how this record form can be seen for a student like this. So this is like health record first, which we have set according to the prioritization, and then self-awareness. So what are the things that I have added in the self-awareness record group I can see from here. And next is we have health record. These are the active groups, and what are the assigned batches, how many assigned batches are there, and how many are active, and how many inactive batches also had this record groups. You can see that information over here. And once I click on the settings, I can see, like I can also see the list of active batches in the institution, and if I want to either assign or unassign any of the batches to this record group, I can do that from here. And here we have an option like auto assign to any newly created batches. So whenever we are creating a new batch, we don't have to again come to the records, student records, and then assign a record to the batch under the course. Instead, all the newly created batch will get automatically assigned with this record group. And even if you want to unassign record group to any of the batches from here, you can select those record groups. Sorry, you can select those batches and then click on unassigned record group. Then those record groups will be unassigned for those batches. And click on update settings. So now what are the processes that we have done is, first we have created the record group. So under each and every record group we have added the records, and next we have assigned the batches to the records groups. So now what I'll do is I'll go back, courses and batches we have added. So I'll go back to student records. So here we have student records where we can manage the student records. That is, we can enter the data in the fields that we have assigned to the students of certain batches. So now I'm clicking on student records. So these are the manage student record by either courses and batches or record groups. So if I click on record groups, I can see the list of the groups here, and I will be able to view the courses which have been assigned with this record group. Or else if I want to go according to the courses and batches, I can click on it and I can see the list of the courses, and I can click on view batches. So now I'm clicking on view batches. So these are the active sessions like batches that we have assigned to the record groups. So here how many number of students in this batch, and you can edit the records or view the records. And here we have an option, show batches with any record group or any particular record group that you want to see. Like if you want to see only the batches who are having the health record, so then you can click on health record, then it will show you only the batches who have been assigned with this health record. So now I'm clicking on edit records. So here I can see the list of the students, and then I can enter the details of the student in the student records that we have assigned. So now I'm clicking on edit records. So here already health records have been assigned, like height of the student, weight, vision, etc. So these are the records that we have created in the record group called health record. So it is also showing us the how many number of fields are filled, like 3 out of 3 are filled here. And even if you want to delete any records or edit the records, you can also do that. And it is showing the percentage of the completion, like only 42% is completed. So now why it is showing us like 42% completed is that we have finished the health record of the student, but we did not enter any information under self-awareness. So once I enter the details of the self-awareness here, this will be 100% finished or completed. So now I am entering some goals of the student. So I haven't added this one, so it will be showing us 85% completed. So if I complete everything, I'll be able to see that as 100%. So likewise for each and every student in that batch, you can add the details of the students regarding the health records, like regarding the record groups. So this is how we can enter the information in the record groups of the students, and this information will be available for the parents, students in the module called student records in their profiles. So this is all about the student records, where we can first create a record group and create the records under the record group. And once we are done with that, we have to assign the batches to the record group, so that the batches will be like the students who are related to those batches will have to, like, we will be entering the data regarding those students. And next we have to enter the details, that is managing the student details, like student records in this particular module. So this is how we will create the student records and enter the data and keep the data in Fedena instance. So next is we will see. So when you are creating the student records, there is a chance of entering the data in the format of text or text area. Like as I have shown you, when you are creating a record, so we will also be able to create when you're adding a record here. So we have like input methods like multi-line text, single line text, multiple options, date and file attachment. So these are the 5 types of input methods which are available in order to enter the data regarding a student. So it can be any document like health records or medical certificates of the students or any other information that you want to store for a student. You can do that using this module. So after the student records, we will see how we can, like what are the changes that have taken place in CCE module, in CCE examination. So there are some changes that have taken place. So first is like under settings. So everything like related to setting the grading levels is normal, like it is same as we used to do before, like batches, selecting the batches or setting up the common grading levels for all the batches. So here for example, I have created a set of grading levels for a batch called this, and credit points I have given description. And then we'll see CCE settings. So under CCE settings, so everything is fine, like under basic settings, everything is same. And then co-scholastic settings, we will see co-scholastic settings, where in co-scholastic items, when you are creating the observation groups. So here the observation groups where we used to create, they were like normal, like name, header, name, description, CC, grade set, assessment type. These are the ones which were already there. So the new option is like descriptive indicator count for reports. Like how many number of descriptive indicators you want to be shown on the report of a student, that you can specify here. So in case if you are creating number of descriptive indicators under a single observation group, that is maybe 5 or 6 descriptive indicators you have created under observations, and you don't want all those descriptive indicators to be displayed on the report of a student. So instead you just want to see only the observations like the descriptive indicators in which the student has scored good marks. Then in that case, how many number of descriptive indicators that you want to see on the report card, you can specify that count here, basing on which on the CC report of a student you will be able to see only those descriptive indicators in which the student has scored good marks. So that is one of the changes in the co-scholastic settings. So and rest of the things are same, like creating the observation groups and observations, and under observations descriptive indicators. So then assigning the co-scholastic items is also the same, and we have observation code settings. So this is somewhat different, like this is a newly created module where we will set up the observation codes for the CBSE report. So we will set the observation code, selecting the class. So what are the observations that we have created? So if you just want to have the code of the observation instead of the observations, you can set those codes here according to the CBSE norms. So this is another change. And moving back in CCE settings, we have scholastic settings, where we have normal formative assessment settings. And here in this formative assessment settings, there is a new calculation mode. So how do you want the formative assessments to be calculated? You can set it accordingly, like whether you want to go for total marks mode or common denominator mode. So you can view the example here, like the total marks mode is described here, how it is going to be calculated, like how Fedena is going to calculate the formative assessment exams, that is the marks of the formative assessments. Like the total marks mode uses actual values of each FA criteria when applying the formula and calculates the result of the maximum marks of the criteria. So even if you want to see the example of how this total marks mode works, like you can just click on view example, and this is how it works. So these are the FA criteria and these are the formula keys that we have created. So this is an example. So and the obtained marks and the maximum marks. So for each and every formative assessment item, we will be giving the maximum marks, and based on the marks obtained by the student, here we have the formula that is applied, that is A plus best of 1 BCD at 10 plus E. So this is how the calculation will go on, basing on the number of FA criterions that you have given while creating the formative assessment items. So this is like total marks mode. This is how you can be able to get the score of the students under formative assessments. And the other one is common denominator mode. So in common denominator mode, the denominator will be taken as 1 for all the items. Like the common denominator mode converts all FA criteria marks to a common denominator, that is 1, before applying the formula. It is useful when the maximum marks are different for each criterion. So here in total marks mode, all the criterias, like all the FA criterias, they have the same maximum mark. But when it comes to sometimes the institutions may also change the maximum mark for which you are conducting the examination, like for formative assessment items. So in that case, you can make use of this common denominator mode, where you can also view the example. Like as you can see, there are different total marks for different formative assessments, like this 10, 10, 5. So in that case, we can use the common denominator mode. So it depends on the school, like which type of calculation method they want to go for the formative assessments. And next, when it is like FA, creation of the FA groups. So we have like calculation of the formula, like how you want the FA group calculation. It was there before. So editing the formula. So you can also give your own formula basing on the formula keys that you have created. So these are the criteria that you have created, and these are the formula keys that you have set for each and every criteria. And then if you want to create your own formula, you can enter the formula which is a valid one, and according to that only the formative assessment marks will be calculated for the students. So even if you want to view an example, there is an example. So these are the 3 criteria which we have created, and these are the obtained marks of the students, and these are the maximum marks, and how the calculation will take place. So say in case if you have given the formula as A plus B plus C, so this is how the calculation will be carried on, basing on how you have set, like total marks mode or common denominator mode. So whichever formative assessment calculation mode that you have chosen, accordingly it will calculate basing on the formula that you have given. So you can give sum or average or whatever it might be best. So like this. So you can just see the examples once before you set the formula, and even if it is something, a formula which is different for your institution, you can also set it up, and you can choose the marks calculation mode, whether it is total marks mode or denominator mode. And accordingly, Fedena will calculate the formative assessment marks for the students. And this makes easier, like this makes the task of the institution easier, like they can make use of their own formula. And next, after scholastic settings, like we have CCE report settings. So this is a new model. This is a new module that has been given in this Fedena 3.5. It's a new model. So we have CCE report settings. So here, how you want to set the report header, and how you want to see the attendance of the students in the report card. So all that information you can set accordingly in this, from this page. So here, how you would like to see the header section of the CCE reports. So you can set it like according to CBSE norms, or will use a customized header. So anything based on your institution, based on your interest, you can set the header section of your CCE report. Like according to CBSE, if you enable this option called according to CBSE norms, you can see the CBSE institution affiliation number which you have to give here. So whichever number that you give here will be reflected on the CCE report card. So finally, when you have entered an institution affiliation number, you can see that here. So this is how the CCE report of a student will be like based on the marks that we have given and based on how the report card settings have been done. So here the affiliation number that you have entered will come up over here, and the address of the institution, email ID, website and phone number will be there here. And next is, in case if you want to use a customized header, you can click on will use customized header. So when you are selecting a customized header, so the place of 50 mm from the top of the first page will be left blank, so that you can make use of that space to create a customized header of your institution on the CCE report of the student of your institution. So it is saying like, since you are using a customized header, so example, like you want to print on your school's letterhead for your student CCE report, the header section must not be more than 50 mm from the top of the first page. And since the header is only needed for the first page of the report, use blank sheets for the rest of the report. And then the attendance. So how would you like the student attendance to be updated in the CCE report? Like whether you want to do that entry manually after the printing of the CCE report is done, or else if you want Fedena to auto generate for each and every student, you can mention here. So either ways it is possible. So basing on the attendance that you have given for the students in the Fedena's attendance register, basing on that, do you want to get the report of the attendance of a student in the CCE report, or else you just want to have some blank fields wherein which you will fill after the report has been printed from Fedena. So as you can see in the CCE report, I'll show you. So this is the student profile, so which will be automatically generated basing on the information that we have given during the process of student admission. And next is attendance, like total attendance of the student, term 1 and term 2 attendance, and also the total working days under term 1 and term 2. So you want Fedena to generate the attendance automatically on the report card basing on the attendance register that we have in Fedena, or else if you don't want Fedena to generate automatically, if you want to enter that manually, you can also do that. Like it will be empty when once you take the printout of the report, it will be empty, and even if you want to enter manually also, you can do that. And next is health status of the student. So as in CCE report card, most of the people, like most of the institutions, want to have a health status of the students in the report card itself. Then we can also include a health status of the students in the CCE report card. So that is available. Like enter the health status section details in CCE reports for each student using the student records module. So the entry of this health status on the CCE report will be possible by the module called student records, which we have discussed earlier. So the first module that we discussed was student records, wherein which we have created the records, added the information of the students in those records. So whatever the details that we have added over there, if you want that information to be reflected on the CCE report of the students, so you can manage the CCE report settings. So you can just adopt that health status, like health record of the student, to the CCE report. So here we can just select student records, and then you can create from here. You can create from here whichever record group that you want. If you have already created the record groups that we have already which we have already shown. So in case if you just want to make use of a student record group, to that particular option called health status, then we can also link the record group to the report card, to the CC report card. So I'm just clicking on link record group. So here you can see CC report section, that is health status, and associated record group. So here we have to select one of the record groups that we have created already in the module called record groups. So now I'm selecting one of them, like health status. As it is related to health status, I will select the health record and select an option like blood group. So these are the things which are already there, like these are the mandatory fields that should be there on the report card of the student under health status. So basing on that, so you have to select which record, that is which field that you want to map to this particular record. That is, height is the one which should be there, which will be there on the CC report, and which is the option that you are selecting from the ones that you have created in the record groups. You have to mention. So I can select the options that I have created accordingly in case if I had created. So now I am selecting link record group. So it has been done. So I can see that information here. So health status, height, weight, blood group, vision, dental hygiene. So this I have to map there so that I'll be able to get the information of the student health status here. So in case if I have already added the information of the student in the student records, so I will also be able to get the information of that student here. So the height, weight, all the information will be automatically generated on the report card of the student. So whenever you want to change the record group, you can change it, or else if you want to unlink record group, you can also do that. And there is another option called enter student records. So we have mapped a student record to the CC report, and now what it is asking is, like, it is showing to enter the student records. That is, enter the information of the student in the records. So I'm clicking on enter student records. So I am taken to a page where I can see the list of the courses in the institution, and here I can select view batches and edit records. So here I can enter the information of the student. So the same process that we have done. So in case if you want to do that from the module of student records, you can do that from there, or else if you want to do that from this CCE settings page, you can also go from here. And next is self-awareness. So in the same way, like we have added the health record group to the students in this, like for the CC report card, in the same way self-awareness. So all the details that you want to see on the report card of the student, like self-awareness, so these are the details, like these are the fields that will be reflected on the CC report of the student. So in case if you want to get the report in this way itself, like how the CBSE has been said, so if you want it in the same way, you can also map the self-awareness record groups to this particular place, wherein which through which you can see the self-awareness record group on the report card of the students. So I'm just clicking on link record group, select an option, self-awareness, my goals, my strengths. So these things which you are seeing, like map records, and the ones which are there by default, these are the ones which should be there on the CC report according to the CBSE norms. So only those things are shown here, and whatever that are important to be reflected on the CC report, so those things only it will show, and I have to enable, like I have to map only the fields which are related to those options. So apart from these, even if I want to store additional information of the student under self-awareness or health status or any other record of the student, if I want to add, that is also possible through that student records module. So like this. And final result criteria. So this is like define the pass criteria for each class and the final result text to be displayed in the student CCE report. That is managing the criteria. So this option is for like many of the CCE schools, they have a criteria for the students who get this much of percentage, they will be considered as some pass students, and those who haven't reached the pass status, they, for them we can also set another comment. So here we have manage criteria. So here the classes, the pass criteria, so equal and above. So I am setting as D grade, like the students who got D grade and also above D grade. So alternative text for pass. So usually we will show on the report card, like usually it will be pass. Or else if the institution wants to use their own customized comment for the students who have passed, so they can add their own text here. And in the same way, the students who are not falling under this criteria, we can that is like the default text for that is eligible for improvement. In case if you want to make use of, like if you want to use your own comment for the students who are not like satisfying this criteria, then you can set your own comment here. So like this we can set the, like as you can also see, like for each class set the pass criteria. If required, provide an alternative text for pass and eligible for improvement that will be displayed as the result in the student CC report. So alternative text for pass, it can be, for example, like promoted to next class. So it depends on you, like whichever text that you want to be displayed on the CC report of the student according to the grade that they have scored, it will be showing you. So save this criteria. So now these are the CC report settings that we will be doing initially. And once you click on preview report, you can see the report here. So the performance profile of the student, attendance, health status. So what all the information that we have given, it will come here. And then academic performance, scholastic areas like descriptive indicators. In case if we have set any descriptive indicators, it will also show us that. And scholastic activities and self-awareness. And next, scheme of studies. So this is the complete CCE report of a student generated by Fedena. And these are the report settings that we will be doing initially before we generate the marks for the students. And next we have an option of, under CC settings, we have a new module called Upscale Settings. So these are like upscaling the grades of the students according to the scholastic gradings that they have scored. So upscale settings. So in this upscaling criteria, like we have set the upscaling criteria that will determine the eligibility to upscale student grades in one or two scholastic subjects based on their total co-scholastic grade points. So basing on the total co-scholastic grade points of the students, we are going to upscale the student grades in one or two subjects as it has been set by the CBSE. So you can see upscaling criteria. So criteria for one subject upscaling. So what is the criteria that we have to follow in order to upscale the student grade, like student grade in one subject? That is, one subject of the student can be upscaled to the next grade if the following criteria is satisfied. So here you can set the co-scholastic grade points range. Like I'll give like from 35 to 50, if a student is in between, like who has scored a co-scholastic grade points from 35 to 50, so that student will be eligible for the upscaling of a scholastic grade in one subject, and criteria for two subjects. So you can set the grade point range in the same way, like that is the co-scholastic grade point range in the same way, and students having co-scholastic grade points below 1 are not eligible for upscale of scholastic subjects. So below 1 you cannot give any mark. So above 1 only you can give, either in the upscaling of mark in one subject, that is grade in one subject, or two subjects. So now for example I have set like post-scholastic grade points range which have from 35, so I'll set as 25 to 50 as one subject and 51 to 96 as two subjects. So I can upgrade the grades of the student in the scholastic marks in two subjects basing on the co-scholastic marks the student has scored. Save settings. So these are the upscale settings that we will be doing. So here we have set the grade point range of the co-scholastic marks of the student in order to give the upgradation of the grade for a student in his scholastic subjects. So next we will see the examination module. So we will go back to the exam, and here we have exam management. So there are certain changes that have taken place, that is creation of an exam group. So here we will create an exam group. So you can create an examination for all the batches at the same time. So previously also it was the same, but here the user interface and also the selection, how you select the batches under a course changes. So even if you want to like select multiple batches under a course, you can choose from here and give the exam group name and select the CCE exam category. So whether it is term 1 exam or term 2 exam, you can specify it accordingly and create the examination for all the batches under a course. And next is I'm selecting the course name. So here you have like active batches. You can select active batches or inactive batches. So the batch name and the exam groups, how many exam groups we have created, and ongoing exams, etc. And manage exams. So before we go with this process of managing exams, we will also see another new feature that has been introduced in adding the subjects. So we have under subjects. So under manage subjects, when we are creating a subject for a CCE based grade, so here you can add the subject and specify the subject, whether it has got no exam or whether it is a sixth subject. So sixth subject is a subject which does not have an exam, but that which does not print the exam marks of the student on the report card, but it has an exam in the academic year. So that is what we call as a sixth subject in the CCE examination. So you can also create a subject for a CCE batch which is a sixth subject, and also ASL subject, that is assessment for speaking and learning. Assessment of speaking and learning subject, which is mostly given for English subject. So when you are creating a subject like English, so you can also enable that as an ASL subject, and if you are creating any other additional subject for that batch, you can also mention it as a sixth subject in a scenario where that subject has an exam, but that exam score should not reflect on the report cards of the student and should not make any changes in the scores of the student in the examination. So that is what we call as a sixth subject and ASL subject. So you can enable whichever subject belongs to a sixth subject category, or else whichever subject belongs to ASL subject you can assign here. So after this, this is done during the process of adding the subjects in the manage subjects module, where you are creating the subjects for the CCE based subject. And going back, like we were creating, like we are seeing the exam management module, wherein which we have created an exam for the batches in a course. So here you can see the exam groups that we have created, the exams and the subjects, how many number of subjects are there in the batch. So that is what it is showing, like total number of subjects in the batch, and for how many number of the total subjects that we have conducted the exams. That is, there are 6 subjects in this batch, and how many number of exams we have conducted, like for how many subjects we are going to conduct the exam, or we have conducted the exam is this number, like 4 subjects, 4 exams. And status of the exam, like schedule not published or results not published, something. And next we have create exam group. So from here also you can create an exam group. And next, under more option, we have co-scholastic result entry here itself. So you can enter the co-scholastic results of the students in that batch from here itself, and upscale student grades basing on the co-scholastic results of the student. So upscaling student grades will be possible after we have entered all the marks of the students, and after we have generated the report card of the student. So I will show you that later. So here we have managing the exams. So I can click on manage exams. So here add subject exam. So when you are conducting an examination, when you are starting the creation of the examination, so we have add subject exams, wherein which you can select the add subject exam. So here, as we haven't selected this subject, it is showing me that in case the normal process that we used to follow while we are setting up the examinations, where we have to select the exams and schedule the time and date of the examination. So this is the same thing. And here, so FA scores we have here itself. So the option for entering the FA scores is there under the examination, like under the exam group itself. So you don't have to enter, you don't, like as previously we used to do, like we have to go to the subject, we have to click on the subject, and then for each and every subject there used to be FA scores. But here, instead of that, under that term 1 exam itself, you can see the FA scores option, through which you can enter the FA scores of the students. So here the list of all the subjects, and once you click on the name of a subject, you can see FA1 and FA2 as we are entering the marks for the term 1 exam. So from here itself you can add the marks as we used to do earlier. And next we have like batch exam status. So you can publish exam results or publish the examination schedule. So that will be available here. That option will be here. And next, the teacher can click on the name of the subject and enter the marks. So just like as we used to do. So in case if any subject like English, I have set, like I have assigned ASL subject as English. So it is showing me ASL scores. So if I want to enter the ASL scores for this subject, I can click on this ASL scores and enter the speaking skills marks and listening skill mark. So when you are creating the subject, like for ASL, you will be also asked to enter the score of the students, that is the maximum marks for each and every, like for speaking skills and listening skills, how many marks that you want for ASL, like whether you are conducting the exam, ASL exam for 10 marks or 20 marks, you will be having an option to select the marks, the maximum marks for these ASL. And next we have FA scores here. So you can either enter the FA scores on the main page of the group exam there itself, or else you can also enter the FA scores of each and every subject from here. After selecting the subject also, you can enter the marks. So this is like as we used to do before. And this is how we can create the examination and we can enter the marks, and we can also enter the ASL scores of an ASL subject and the FA scores. So next we will see the report center. So under report center, we have like exam wise report and subject wise report. So previously we used to have the subject wise report in the form of percentage. So you will be able to see the percentage, but instead now we have changed it to marks out of maximum marks instead of percentage. So you can see the marks obtained by the student out of the maximum marks from here. So that is a minor change in the subject wise report. And next we will see the CCE reports here. So under CCE reports, there are so many sub-modules like generating the reports. So from the entered scores, you can generate the reports of the students. So here there is an option to show active batches and inactive batches. And also you can select the batches, and even when you want to generate a report only for few students, there is also an option like that. So you can either generate reports for all the students at once, or else if you want to generate reports for all the batches together, you can do it. Or else if you want to generate the reports only for few students in a batch, that is also possible. And next, student-wise report. So here in student-wise report, you can select the term wise report like term 1 and term 2. So this was there earlier also. So you will get the detailed report here. So once I click on detailed report, I'll be able to see that information like this. So the report of the student. So this is how the report of the student will look like. That is the detailed report of a student. And next is subject wise report. So this is also the same which we used to have earlier. This is the subject wise report. The student FA1 scores, FA2, FA3, FA4, SA1 and SA2 marks. And and consolidated report of the student. So in this consolidated report, you can see the assessment groups like individual. These were already there like FAs and SAs grouped term wise, but here we also have ASL scores of the student according to the terms like SA1 and SA2 and SA1 plus SA2. So how many marks the student has scored in the ASL of SA1. So here you can see that information, and in the same way SA2, and then we have SA1 plus SA2 like this overall grade. So this is the consolidated report. The change that has taken place in consolidated report is that you will be able to see the assessment of ASL scores also. And next we have CBSE report. So as per the CBSE format, we can also export we have CBSE scholastic reports for term 1 and term 2 exam. This is for subject wise. So subject based, you can take a consolidated report of the students like this. So here you will be able to see the registration number of the student that we have to enter manually, and then roll number, student name. So the exam wise, and these are the subject wise marks of a student and the CBSE scholastic report. So for FA1, FA2 and SA1. And next is CBSE co-scholastic report. So co-scholastic areas, whichever we have assigned to this particular batch, I can see that like under co-scholastic areas and activities. So I'm selecting life skills, and here what are the grades that the student has obtained in each and every observations here. So these are the observation codes that we have created, we have entered in the settings of CCE. So that will be, those will be reflected here. And next we have Asl report also. So here you can see the Asl report. So like this. So that is about the CBSE report. Like we have CBSE Scholastic report now, and CBSE Co-Scholastic report and Asl report. And next we have batch-wise student report. So we will be generating the batch-wise report of the student. Like we can download the file and we will get the detailed report or basic report of the students in a folder. So all the reports of the students will be there at a time. And here we have upscaling the student marks. So we have upscale report. So in case if we have upscaled the grades of the students, then we can see the upscale report. So now we will discuss how we can upscale the grades of the student. So first we will go to the examination module. So here when we are going to upscale the marks of the student, so first we will see the generated report of a student. So here I'll just show you one of the reports that has been generated after the entry of all the results of the student. So here as a student wise report, this is the report of a student. That is a normal report where we have entered the FA marks, SA marks, and we have got the overall score of the student. So this is before the upgrading the marks, that is upgrading the grades of the student. That is, we did not do any upgradations. Yeah, sure. So we are going to upscale the student marks. So for that, first let us check the report of the student before the upscaling. So there is no process of upscaling that has been done to this report card. So this is like a normal one. So before we do the upscaling of the student, we need to generate the reports. So only after the generation of the reports, the normal reports, then only this upscaling process is possible. So where do we find this upscaling of the students is that, upscaling the student marks is that, so under the exam management, so when you are selecting the course here, so we are going to select the batch and click on manage exams. So here we have like co-scholastic result entry as well as upscale grades. So co-scholastic result entry is the same like which you used to do before, like we will be entering the grade points of the students. So this is the same one which we used to follow before. And next under more we have upscale student grades. So now I am selecting upscale student grades according to the criteria that we have set before, so which we have discussed before, like the co-scholastic grade points in between, like in between 25 to 50 I have given. So for which, so whichever the student who scores the scholastic grading in between 25 to 50, he can be given upgradation in the grade that he has scored in a scholastic subject. So here you can see the list of the students who are eligible for one subject, that is upscaling the grade of one subject. Here you can see the list of those students. So these students are eligible for upscaling the grade in one subject. So here you can upscale. So there is an option to upscale the grade. So whichever subject or whichever subject you want to upscale the grade of the student, you can do that upscaling over here. So you will be able to see the eligible students here based on the co-scholastic marks that they have scored. So the criteria that we have set initially for the upscaling of the grade, that is students who have scored between 25 to 50, they are eligible for the upscaling of one grade, that is for one subject. And in case if they have scored above 50 and below 65, like the maximum mark, then those students are eligible for the upgradation of the grade for two subjects. So here it is showing you automatically based on the scholastic marks of the student. So you can select the student here and then upscale the grade of the student. So for whichever subject that you want to upscale, you can do the upscaling part. So even if you want to revert this upscale, you can also do that reversion process. And click on save. So now you can see the eligible students as 2 and upscaled students as 1. And the other student also I will upscale the grade. So like this, I can do the upscaling of the student grades basing on the co-scholastic marks they have scored. Even if I want to change the batch and do this upscaling process for other batches also, you can change the batches from here itself. And now I have upscaled the student grades. So now I will see the same report card of the student that we have generated. So here I can see the overall grade of the student that has been increased, and it has got some star marks here, which shows that there is an upscaling process done for this subject to the student. So in case if there are two subjects for which the grades are upscaled, you can also see the other subject with the star marks and the grade that has been increased. So like this, you can see the upscaling of the students' grades in the report card of the student. Like you can see the star marks and you will understand that the grade has been upscaled for the student based on the co-scholastic marks that the student has scored. So and then when you take the detailed report of the student also, so you will be able to see that star marks here. So that is how you can upscale the grade of the student. And next, under report center, under CCE reports, we have a module like upscale report. So here you can see the details of the upscaling of the students done in each and every batch. So here the total number of eligible students under this batch for upscaling. So 2 are there, and for 2 of them we have done the upscaling process. And the upscaled students, how many students are there who are eligible for the upscaling, and for how many students we have done the upscaling. And now upscale student grades. So from here also you can see, like if there are like list of the students under a batch for whom we have upscaled the grade, you can see this mark, this arrow mark, which indicates that the upscaling of student grade has been done. And whenever you want to revert this process of upscaling the grade, you can also revert it and do the upscaling for other subject, or else in case if you want to cancel that upscaling, you can also revert the upscaling. And next we have previous batch exam report under CCE reports. So here in previous batch exam report, you can see the classes which are the previous batches in that course. And you can also get the list of all the reports of the students who are there in the other batch, that is who are there in the previous batches. So the process of upscaling will take place. So we can upscale the grade of the students for either one subject or two subjects according to the marks that the student has scored. That is, when the student scored the criteria that we have set for upscaling the student grades. So here in CCE settings, we have this upscale settings. So here criteria for one subject upscaling, where we have set the co-scholastic grade points range. So for the students whose co-scholastic grade points range is between 25 to 50, so those students are eligible for one subject upscaling. And then if the students are scoring a range like grade points range of 51 to 96, they are eligible for two subjects grade upgradation. So these things like the marks that you enter here, the points range that you enter here is dependent on the institution. So basing on what criteria, like grade points criteria, how they want to increase the grade of the students so that they can set according to their institution. So based on this, we can either upgrade the student grade for one subject or two subjects. So your questions will be answered at the end of the session. For now, we will go on with the other modules that we will check. So the queries you can ask after the end of the session. So we will just see the modules that we have to cover, and later on I will answer your queries. And next, there are certain changes in Icsc format also in the Icsc examination. So the calculation of the grades, calculation of the student marks, the formula that we will be setting. So there is a small change in the settings part of Icsc. So where there is like internal assessment settings. So where you can also enable the common denominator mode or total marks mode here. So you can choose any one of them for the calculation of the assessment marks under Icsc. And these are the major changes that have taken place in Fedena 3.5 related to CCE and student record groups that we added, that an entire module that is related to student records. So those are the two major, like those are the changes that have taken place related to the modules of CCE and student records. And next are like some small changes related to data and reports, where in custom imports we also have added a new model called employee payroll. So this is an additional model that we have added in this data export. So where you can import this one employee payroll and add the details of the employee payroll in the Excel sheet and upload the document back to Fedena system. And next, a few changes in date filters in library and attendance register. So in attendance register, like you can see the date formats like this, they have changed. And the other one is in library management module. So here in the movement log, we have the select date as start date and end date you can give. Previously it was only for a single day, but now it has been changed to you can select the start date and end date, and you can search for the records. And another change is related to the internal messaging system. So where we can create the message like just we used to do previously, but the interface has been changed a bit. Like you can add the employees, students and parents, and there is an also attachment field. So where you can add some attachments over here and send the message to any of the users of Fedena. And in the same way, when it comes to news module, so we also have included the attachment option. So we can attach files to the news so that the users will be able to see the attachments under the news article. And there are like few quick links for student and parents. So under quick links, you will also be able to see from the profiles of students and parents to view the fee status of their fee payments. And we also have added a privilege of human resource. So here under privileges, there is a HR management added here. So wherein which you can give the privileges according to the role of the user. So these are the basic changes that have occurred in Fedena 3.5. So related to CCE we have covered, and also the student records and Icsc and all the some other minor changes that have taken place. And there is also changes in the Fedena mobile version, wherein which you can also pay the fee through online. So you can pay the fee from your mobile version of Fedena, and you can also click on forgot password on your mobile version. So there is an option called forgot password in case if you have forgotten the password, and if you are using Fedena through your mobile, you also have an option to click on forgot option, through which you will be given a new password. You will be provided a link to get the reset password page, and emails with link to pay and receipts after pay. So emails will be sent to you with the link where in which you can navigate. Like you will be taken to the page where you can pay the fee through online, that is through the mobile version of yours, and also you will get the receipts after the payment has been done to your email IDs. So these are the changes of Fedena 3.5. So in the previous session, we have discussed HR management and the changes that have taken place in HR module as well as in the finance module. And today we have discussed regarding CCE, student records, Icsc, and some other minor changes.